Hello guys and welcome to chapter 5. In this chapter we're going to analyze c5, some Tarrasch positions. So after c takes knight f3, I want to mention that here c takes d4 and here fifth move knight f6 will be analyzed in the next chapter. So I want to go straight forward to this position, which is forced, rook c1 and queen b6, right? Queen d6 is well famous idea that after bishop c3 we win the pawn and we have winning position. So queen b6, this is all well-known theory. And after d takes c3, queen b4, as we all know in this position, if white plays bishop d2, white here has another risk-free position, you know. Black remains solid, but we definitely need to demonstrate some bishop pair technique. So who like bishop pair as me, this would definitely would be good position for us to play. What I love the most about bishop pair is some moment when I trade one bishop in open position, especially the pawns on both sides, bishop is better than knight, you know. So this is a nice way to play this position and definitely always good alternative for us. But here guys, I want to show you one interesting move and play Dono in 3 games. And how you get a little bit deeper into this position as I did, you see how it demands actually precision for. So that move is king f1. King f1. And what is immediately important to notice? It's immediately important to notice here that he can go castle due to bishop c5, right? He takes bishop f7, we win the queen. Bishop g4, bishop c5, same idea. In one game, 120-250 player played knight e4. Honestly, I don't know what he threats with this move, but I know that Sholovic played the best move here, queen d5. And after queen e7, I can't remember what he played, but he missed chance to play rook e1 simply to pin this. And after queen c5, there's no castle. Obviously, after castle, we take bishop c5. According to engine, after knight e7 and bishop d4, we have winning position here. Bishop pair, he can develop himself, h4, h5 is coming very fast, and that's like kinda good way to include the rook into the game. So, after king f1, we start immediately with one interesting fact, that the only move for black is bishop e6. So, for example, Kransekov here take and play queen e2, you know, which is completely fine. But once again, I just want to tell you, just like in main line, black needs to play rook d8. This idea is not easy to be found over the board, you know, and I'm not sure how many players are able to find it. But if you play queen a5, like this Koch played, we have bishop c5. That's like maybe some improvement over the previous game. And we can claim some, you know, compensation here. King is at the center, we threat queen b5, you know, he needs to play some precise moves like rook d8, queen b5, you know, I still think that white has slightly more pleasant position, you know, and with one imprecise move, black position could crumble. So he needs to play some precise moves here. Let me show you a6 here, for example. We immediately punish that, you know, it already looks unpleasant for black. He's under significant pressure, and it's definitely not gonna be easy for him to find the moves. So I think we have definitely nice compensation in this position. But regardless to that compensation, I still think that the better move here is queen e2. So after queen d2, you see what's the threat? We want to play knight g5. I don't need to mention that after one castle, oops, chess base, we take and play bishop c5, once again winning the material. If you play h6, which find a logical move to prevent that, we have this beautiful move, bishop d4, after which we claim the advantage. So then what's the best move? Rook d8. That's the move which is definitely not easy to be played, but it was played by Lei, former world champion challenger. She's very strong and she was able to find this move over the board, because I think Honeru definitely surprised her with this king f1 interesting idea. So this position happens on the board, and here Honeru played bishop c5 and some interesting endgame arise. I think at the end it was draw, but looking at this position, I know that I ask myself, what could I improve here? You know, how can I bring my rook into the game? So I found here h4, which is my novelty. I simply want to play h5, h6, but also to bring the rook over h4, maybe to f4 or c4, depends it, you know. Castle is not possible. That's constantly our idea. Castle is not possible. So with h5, h6, I definitely can, you know, make a little bit weakness with these pawns and to exploit this king. So once again, if black play castle, bishop c5 is winning. If we follow queen a5 as core idea, bishop c5. We sacrifice the pawn, you know, and play aggressively. Knight g5, rook g3. So here black needs to find a lot of unpleasant moves like queen d5, queen c2. For example, if you make mistake here with queen d2, we have dominant position here. You know, notice how the king is in the center. Sack. Rook is out of the game. h6 is not possible to queen g6. So here he needs to find rook d7, and after rook f3, I think we have very, very interesting position. You know, b4, b5 is the idea. Position remain tense, but I think yet with best defense, you know, black can succeed in that to guard all the big weaknesses. I think the king d8 here is the only move for now to survive, but position definitely looks unpleasant for black. So according to engine, the best move here is to play queen e4, and it seems like most solid. So we continue with our idea h5, the threat is h6. So if he allows that, rook h4 and h6, we have better position. So we will succeed in my novelty. But of course, black here needs to play h6, and after rook h6, queen f5, we get to the position I want. Bishop c5. I don't want to give him castle, you know, I can bring my rook to c4. So always there's some b4, b5 idea. And according to engine, black position is okay, but I like our long-term chances, you know. It's hard for black to castle, almost impossible, and d6 kind of looks like a long-term weakness. h5 is not hanging, rook h5, queen e6 mate, so position looks very interesting, guys. It's, as I mentioned, maybe for most of you is not gonna sound nothing special, but you know, with novelties like this, you can definitely surprise your opponent. And if he's not able to find all these engine moves over the board, you know, it's gonna be tough for him. It's gonna be definitely tough for him. I also just want to mention here interesting thing is that the black, besides d takes e3, can also go to castle and play bishop e6. This is played only in few games, because most of them play bishop g4 here. And after this sequence of the only moves, we have bishop pair, slightly better position, there is no queens, maybe it's even better version for us. And from what I saw in database, white has the 83% here of success rate. So position is definitely good, but I must say that bishop e6 is the best move according to engine, and definitely it feels unpleasant. So after bishop e6, queen c2, queen b1, we following the game between Gonda, who is GM, against some 2450 player, and here he played h6. I think the best move is to play rook c d8, you know, with mutual chances, position still unclear. In some moment he's gonna take on e3. We have slightly better position due to this e6 pawn, but of course if he played the most precise moves, he'll survive this position. But since the knight g5 is always some in the air, Isaac played here somehow to say human move h6, you know, preventing that. And unfortunately for Gonda, he missed one thing here. So after knight trading all of this, rook c8, we have bishop h6. And that's the move which is gonna bring us some advantage. Of course, he can take on f3, double our pawns, but it also opens g file, also possible attack. So yeah, we transpose to that. We have full pawn up and slightly better position. So yeah, I mean, black definitely have a lot of choice in this variation, you know, and but we also have a lot of different lines we can play. b3 is also possible here. One strong player, 2380, he took on e3, which is mistake. And look, the last position we had position. So rook c1, e6 weakness. It was easy for Grandmaster from Germany to win this game. He should take on c4 and now on e3, and according to Eugen is equal position. But equal doesn't mean draw, you know. There's still a lot of here to be played, and I definitely prefer white, you know. But my suggestion is still to take on e6. I want to make this here pawn as long-term weakness as soon as I can. So that's it, guys, about this simple but interesting line. And in the next chapter, we're gonna analyze all different lines he can play from the beginning, comparing to one of my new ideas, you'll see. So that's, guys, with chapter 5, and I'll see you in chapter 6.